This is known as the Cathederal Cactus. Its real name is the African milk tree, but in actuality, it is known as the thorny succulent. It falls in the succulent family because it has leaves and thorns. Time to get the soil ready. Throughout the video, I'm just going to call it cactus and cacti because that's how most people think of it. But it is in the succulent family. As for getting the dirt ready, cactus like sandy, peat mossy, good, thin soil. It doesn't have to be full of nutrients, but they definitely can handle almost any kind of soil you throw at them. They don't mind acidity, they don't mind phosphorus, and they don't mind nitrogen. When it comes to fertilizing, we all have our favorites. So whatever fertilizer you choose to use, I would say, my opinion, because I've been taking care of cactus now for at least 40 years with my mother who has many, many cacti and succulents. My advice would be during their growing period, spring and summer, that's when they need a little boost. That's when I would give them the fertilizer. So first step, after I mix the dry soil all together, I add hot water to the pots and kill any bugs or anything that might have came with the soil. And I let it drain really well. When that water comes out of the bottom, you know that pot of soil is nice and wet. If you're lucky enough to live in a warm climate that doesn't get a lot of harsh winters, you can grow your cactus right outside. Jason and I have a sunroom, so our cactus blooms all year long because it doesn't get below 50. Obviously, cactus can live in the desert where it does get cold at night. But their roots are also very deep into the ground and do not freeze. Yep, this is the one we're going to do next. Let me show you how I did that. Oh, and very excited to say that we just started our garden veggies. Yay! It's kind of like a bonsai tree, right? You have your main cactus straight up. Right here. Straight up is your main cactus. Nothing should ever be taller than the main limb. I always have something ready to put them in and a paper towel because when you cut them, it's going to look like they're bleeding. There is a milky sap that will come out. The milky sap is considered poisonous. If you digest it, you could end up with some kind of gastric problems, so don't eat it. If the sap gets on your skin, you should immediately wash your hands. It could give you a rash or an irritation. I've never had any of these symptoms. I knew I wasn't going to be strong enough to catch this because the cactus is top heavy. So where the camera was sitting on the table, I just let her fall right to that. Perfect. She's fine. I'm just going to speed it up so you can get to see each individual piece and how I'm cutting it. There's just too much on her right now. Let's just get it off. Okay, so now you can see better. Every few minutes, I wash my hands, I clean the clippers. You don't want to get any of that on your skin. So, keep your area clean. And if there's any drips on the floor that may have fallen, I definitely clean them up. So this is where you make some choices. This is the main beam. I'm going to keep this arm here. I might as well keep these little babies until they get a little bit bigger. This has a great root system already growing, and it's very hard. So when I go to cut her eventually, there won't be any bleeding between either one of these plants. That's nice. So I'm going to get rid of this one above it. I'm also going to get rid of this one right here because it's already poking this one. So no good. This one here is much farther down, but eventually it will poke right into this one. So you make choices. Should we get rid of this one now or let this one keep getting bigger? I think we're going to leave this one. No, I think we're going to cut this one. I think we're going to cut this one. We're going to cut this one. Okay, so it's not hard at all. You literally just pull it down. It'll start to release and you cut it. Decide which ones you want to get rid of. Pull them down and snip it. Pull down the next one and get right in between the main plant and the one you're clipping off. It's starting to look good. So eventually I'm going to end up trimming this because again, we don't want anything higher than the leader of the cactus. I'm just going to go ahead and trim that now. Just stop it right there. So all this energy continues to go back down to this Cathederal cactus. And I'm sure she's already going to throw off some babies. But wow, did we get a lot off of her, folks. More and more cactus. More and more cactus. And then after just a few moments, it'll stop bleeding, shall we call it. Doesn't last long. Now we have to put all of these into dirt. My biggest advice to someone who wants to cut their cactus or even their succulents, just let the sections that you cut off sit out for 5 days or a week before you put them into soil. This way, they can kind of not be stressed out. They can easily go into shock and just die. Or by putting them right into moist soil, they could rot. Cactus and succulents don't mind being snug. They don't need big, big pots because their roots don't get real crazy. At least, not the ones that you keep in your home. The ones that grow outside absolutely will dig deep to get to that water. If the cactus isn't straight, just bury it so it is straight coming out of the soil, and it will continue growing that way. Chopsticks and skewers come in very handy and are very inexpensive that can help your little cactus stand up straight. Soon it won't need it at all. And so much more to go. I'm a big believer in misting your plants at least once a day, creating a little humidity, and it helps them get used to rain because soon some of these plants are going outside. Once a week, all the house plants, including the cactus and succulents, get watered every Sunday morning with my morning cup of coffee. And every day with my morning cup of coffee, everybody gets a mist. I would recommend just picking up a plastic bottle that is only used for water, nothing else. So while our veggies are growing and our flowers too, I'm wrapping up this project of getting all the cactus in their own pots. Yep. So many cactus. Time to write down when I did the transplanting in fresh soil so I don't forget. Just finished transplanting the last of the cactus. Happy days! The whole cactus transplanting debacle is now done, and all of these plants are getting moved to a different room. Oh, so happy about that. Yay! Transplanting cactus is done. Trimmed her 2 weeks ago, and she's already has a baby popping out. You see that little teeny weeny cactus right there? Look at that. Right there. Yeah. Just trimmed her of all her babies, and she's already popping off more babies. Babies everywhere. And look at all the new growth and the new little leaves. And if we're lucky, she'll flower for us too. Either white or yellow flowers. Thank you for stopping by. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you haven't already met Jason and I, P&J, here's a little trailer so you can see what we've been up to around here. Thank you for stopping by.